apaga, bueno, mejor no se apagan las luces de aquí. Okay. Okay. Can you also try where you can hear?
It'll tell you the
Hey, I don't need to go into all this. You want some little background about Saltillo? Do you remember any of that?
Should be a switch for that.
Okay, there's some of you that are new. You want me to go into real, like, details? No, if I do that, you may never come to visit us. Okay. All right. Something about Saltillo. We'll get into that, since most of you are probably familiar with the work if you come up with the very few newsletters that you have received. But we live in a state, it's called Coahuila. The capital of that state is Saltillo. That's where we live. Years ago, Saltillo used to be the capital of Texas, so it's an old city. There's a lot of historical background to it. Although Saltillo does have some not modern skyscrapers, but some modern type buildings. We even have a Kentucky Fried Chicken there. So you will not starve. We won't give you just hot chili, tortillas, and beans the whole time you're there. Okay, one. This is something very common all throughout Mexico are statues, which usually are of historical figures in their histories past. That's I don't remember his name. Some Indian, had something to do with their history. That's real close to our house, just a few blocks down. And you can see some of them in the modern buildings. This is our new convention center. We have had Vicky Carr, she's big down there now, Jose Feliciano. Some of the ones that Leela would know that have been in big movies here. ¿Cómo se llama ese que tenía una película? I don't know his name. You probably, the young people would know. They've had American people as well as, of course, people from all over the world, actors, singers, and so on in this area. It's a convention center. That's the house we live in. We live on top.
Did you build that? Is that what was built?
On the top part, yeah. We had to build some of the bottom. We had to knock down 2 rooms that was made out of adobe to be able to build the apartment on top. And it's still the way that you saw it last. There's nothing been done to it, or balcony. We still don't have a window, glass in our bathroom yet. We don't have a kitchen yet. We just kind of stopped everything on that to be working on some of the other things a little more important. These are all except one family member. In the back, I'll point them out to you. I'm just doing this because if you read the newsletters, you will see their names in there. The oldest of the family is Raquel. She's 28. We don't have to really get into their ages. Raquel graduated and became a beautician, quit her job to help us, especially with the children's work. The next is not pictured, Pepe. He's a chemical engineer. He had a job and had to quit because of his health. And in a few months, we think he may be going further south, around the Mexico City area, to be working. But meanwhile, while he's been at home, he's been helping Juan and Papa as well. The next is Juan, my husband. He's the next one and the only married one. We all live together. The next is Malena. The next is Leela, who is with us now, has graduated, went to private secretarial school. Then is Elizabeth, we call her Weta. She's graduated from high school and now going to the university. She wants to study medicine, at least be a nurse anyway. And the youngest, her birthday at least today, is Sarah. She's 13. And Papa, a carpenter by trade. He lives in Monterrey, the big city, I said Monterrey, about 45 minutes from our home. So he doesn't get home. It costs too much, the bus fare, to get home every day. He comes home Wednesday night for our Bible study, gets in Saturday evening, and has to leave Monday about 5 o'clock. If we need him, he comes home. He took off work different weeks to be able to help work on the church building in that area. Of course, he doesn't get paid. He just takes off work. Mama is in charge of starting all of our women's groups. Juan and Papa do the preaching and teaching and that of the men's groups and so on, and the Wednesday Bible studies. Raquel helps me largely with the children's teaching, as well as all the other girls. They're helping with the children's work. Okay, Sunday morning. What we do Sunday morning. We get up whenever we get up. And we try to leave the house no later 5:30 and had an hour towards the mountains. Now, Saltillo is a large city where we live. It's like, oh, I don't remember the exact figures, but over 600,000. So it's pretty large. And the villages we go to are very small. So it's a drastic change. It takes us an hour to get to the village of San Juan. We ourselves are over 6,300 feet above sea level. We don't know the exact altitude to give you, but I'm sure by the time we get to this village, we're over 8,000 anyway, feet above sea level. This is a shrine in the mountain. These are common things you'll see throughout Mexico. You can see inside that shrine, it's like a cave. That is the Virgin of Guadalupe. There's a lot of pagan worship in Mexico, and there you can see shoes. Oh, that thing will be full, that room, and they clean it out. They'll have bouquets from a wedding, from a 15th birthday party. It will have hair locks, pictures, license, just all kinds of things where people leave things in order for this Virgin of Guadalupe to bless them. And they'll burn a candle. A lot of truck drivers stop there thinking that this statue or picture is going to help them in their trip. It's very sad to see that, but that's very common in Mexico, being at least 96% Catholic. As going out towards that village,
What do they do with all that stuff? Where's it go?
we don't know. We really don't know what they do. I would imagine probably they throw it out. If the people knew that, they'd feel upset. But I'm sure that's what they do because they have to eventually clean the area out. There you can see going out to that village, a lot of times it does rain in towards the mountains. San Juan, and there's Daddy Newland, Harold Newland. He's the chairman of my board. I keep him in place. He doesn't keep me in place. Now, Harold heard that. He probably kicked me if he went. Harold went to our wedding 3 years ago. He was down there for our wedding, and of course, did get to go out to some of the areas that we minister to. This is hilarious. You see that big, nice sign, San Juan. This is a little mountain village that has just recently got electricity. Okay, Juan. They live off the land, the people. You're not going to see very many tractors out there. This is what they usually use, if not by hand. And they live off the apple orchards. Now, this orchard happens to be owned by a wealthy man that lives in Monterrey, and many people do that. They're wealthy, they own orchards, and they let the village people work them. And that's how they make their money. And some of the people themselves have apples, trees as well. And what they make, they live off of the rest of the year. The nets over the trees are because of the frequent hailstorms that they have in the area. We meet in the homes of the people. Anything from here you can see made out of wood, Siggy, made out of adobe or thatch-looking type of roofs. There's all different types of homes. Here is in the living room of one. We've got anywhere from 20 or more people usually that meet Sunday morning in this area here. Now, you probably remember that we tried to buy land some time back, and they made us give it back. The villagers did not want a church there. We have not been yet able to buy land. None of the villagers want to sell. So this man, here you see Juan saying Juan and Papa there. This man is hermano, which means brother, vale. Hermano vale. He has a home that has a kitchen and a bedroom to it. We hike all the way up there. It's one of the last houses up on the mountain. So your young people would love this because it's a real nice hike up into the mountains there. And that's where we usually have church service. The area you see is where we're going to build a church building by hand. You see that we brought rocks down that we were using the foundation. Youth groups that have come from the States down have helped in some way. We take them out there. One youth group, Tom Hart from New Jersey, they helped build. We had no tools to work with. This ditch here, another one's helped us bring rocks down. Keep going, Mark. And others have helped us build the adobe bricks. We're not ready yet to put the building up, but you can see how we do the adobe. This is either made out of wood or tin or steel, whatever they have. Square frame. It's like making mud pies, but your mixture has to be right. Not too watery and not too dry. You put that in there, kind of smooth it out with your hand, pull that frame, it's got handles to it straight up, and your adobe's ready. After this dries, then they're stacked up in this method so they'll dry on all sides. Then you're ready to start building. Now what's happened is we have, each family has donated so many adobe bricks. If we don't get the building up and it rains, they'll be ruined. And and we have to start all over again. And that's a lot of hard work. We really don't want to do that, so be praying about this. It probably will cost dollar-wise more or less somewhere around $3,000 to get the building up with the wood that would have to be purchased, the cement for the foundation, for the floor, windows. It'll only have one door, maybe one or two windows. I have all that written down somewhere, but I'm not going to go into all the facts about that now to keep on going. So we are planning on building there in San Juan. We get home about 2:30. I usually let off anybody that goes out to the village with us at the house, and I go immediately to start picking up people that do not have a way to church to come to the service that starts at 3 o'clock. This is in our living room at this particular time, Siggy. Papa made the pulpit that you see. Being a carpenter, I love watching him do this. No nails, all wooden pegs and glue. The whole thing, hand done. He has no electrical tools. Takes longer that way, but it's amazing to watch how he makes that. The benches, there's only 5 right now. The youth group and women's group purchased the wood for the benches instead of taking it out of the church fund. What they did is had activities among themselves. For instance, maybe Leela, let's say, would go out and buy a bag of candy. She goes to youth group and she sells the candy to the young people, and that money goes into a special offering, not their regular offering, but a special offering for something like this, buying the wood to make the benches, which often one actually do make. This is the land that's been purchased for the church that we had started in our home. It's going to be the Pro Vivienda Church. It's in the city of Saltillo, but the colonial area is called Pro Vivienda. I have to figure it out, but in meters, it's 20 by 44. It's very large. And you see the building that we now are meeting in. 3 weeks ago we started meeting in this particular building. It's going to be difficult to explain exactly, but I'll try to do this. This, up to these windows here, will be underground. This will be, hopefully, someday, if we get this all finished, like a social hall. Is that what you call it? Is that right? Social hall? I don't know. You know. On top of it will be classroom areas and kitchen, so on. Out this direction will be classrooms underneath and the sanctuary on top. These are bathroom areas over here. This is inside that room. Since this picture, we have put down a concrete floor up to this area here. This is where the stairway will be and the windows. Otherwise, the room is just like this. There's no electricity, no doors, no windows. The roof is leaking because it's not finished, plus we're planning on building on top of that. The floor, of course, someday will be finished as well. Otherwise, the walls will be left just like this to cut down on the cost. I'm not sure what we will do during the winter months because it does get very cold. It can go below freezing in that area. So we're going to have to try to top this up with tin or something, cardboard or something, so we're not freezing there. Since this is just one room, I take the children back to the house for Sunday school class. Otherwise, they're running out all around the place there. So what we do is let them have the church service. When they get to the sermon part, I take the kids out and we go to the house. Church service, Siggy, church service lasts there to about 5:30 or so, usually, Sunday afternoon. This was the first Sunday that we met. You could see all the people. We had a meal that day. That day our kitchen was the van. The van's used for a hearse. It's been used for a hospital kitchen. It's about everything, classrooms and everything. I think that's probably why I decided to break down on it right here. Here's one of the classes that we have with the children. You can see they love the color. That's something that's kind of strange for them to be able to do. They love that. After the service here, we still don't eat. We head out. Maybe we have a chance to grab a tortilla and take it in the car. We usually take our youth group and people that want to go with us and head out an hour the opposite direction from San Juan and go to this village of Idiona. The work originally here years ago, about 20 years or so ago, was started by this man, Hermano Beto. And I don't know if you remember years back when we went to, not that many years back, to a place called Whitestone, Tierra Blanca, 2 hours away. Everybody is leaving that village, and only left 2 families there. So Hermano Beto said, if you'll help me once in a while with my bus fare, I'll go out there. It's only about an hour from his house. I'll go out every 2 weeks. If you'll come into my village and help here, the work's dying. So that's what we've been doing. Here we have about 70 or more people that attend Sunday evening. What we are doing, you're never going to remember all this, probably, but I leave people off here and I go about 10 minutes away to a village called San Antonio and pick up some of the Christian people that we've baptized recently there, and other interested people. There's probably about a total of 11, and bring them back here to this area to be able to worship with the people here. And then we take them home, and we head home ourselves about, maybe 9:30, 10, or later in the evening. Cactus plants, sometimes they have beautiful blooms. These are great if you want to play a game. Who can stick you the worst? You know, it's about all you can use that for. But cactus are used for a lot of things. This cactus is used for medicine. This burns better than barwood when it's dry. And this, as I'll show you in the next picture, we eat. We also eat the fruit from the cactus, this particular cactus plant. When it's red, it's ripe, and it tastes like something you've never had before. Kind of like watermelon maybe, with thousands of little seeds in it. You peel the skin off, and it's very juicy tasting, and not bad at all. The other thing we eat are, you can see the younger, what would you call them, leaves, I don't know. We cut those off, cut the prickly things off, cut it down into little bitty squares, and cook it by itself with eggs, with vegetables. It looks kind of like slimy green beans, but it doesn't taste bad at all, and it's really good for you. They're called nopales. I don't know why I'm showing you all this strength. We will not give you this stuff to eat if you do not want it. Believe me. Peanut butter all the way. Okay. Palm trees. These are the flowers from the palm trees. That's a long stem. We eat those before the bloom comes out completely. When they're in this stage, you can, what do you call it? Fry it, you know, in oil or butter, something like that, and it's different. You all apparently are afraid to come down and visit us. We've been helping for a long time and nobody's ever come. We get our vegetables and fruit at a place where they're grown in distilled water. Believe that? I mean, clean stuff here you're talking about. And it's cheap, and it's wonderful. Great stuff. Monday, we have a women's group in the Saltillo area that meets in different homes. This particular time, it was in our living room. There's usually 15 or more women, usually 20 or more women that meet Monday. And the children, naturally, they do not and cannot afford to have babysitters. They have to bring their children with them. So again, we'll have anywhere from 15 or more children. So while the women are studying the Bible and having their prayer session, the children are doing that as well, which will last for several hours, 3 o'clock to 5, 6 o'clock, or whenever they're ready to leave. It may last. Mama, again, you can see here, is in charge of that, and I'm in charge of the children's. Here you can see Raquel helping with one of the classes, and you can see they don't get crayons usually in their home, and they think that's great. So that's a real teaching tool to be able to have something for them to color and relate that to some type of religious or Bible story. Tuesday, we head back out to Indiana and San Antonio. Just recently, we started a women's group in San Antonio, the village that's 10 minutes away from Indiana. Usually what we do is pick up the women in Indiana, go to San Antonio. Or go to San Antonio and bring them back to Indiana. We hope in the future, this is not definite, to maybe start a church out in that village of San Antonio as well. We've baptized at least 5 people out there now, and that may be a possibility. You can see the women here, and we have again 20 or more women that meet out usually in Indiana, San Antonio area. The children, though, we have usually 55 to 75, 80 children in this area. This is an all-day thing. We usually leave by 12, 12:30, and we get home 6:30 or later. Wednesday, in our home in the evening, we have Bible study and prayer meeting. Now, once that one room is finished at the church lot there for the Provivienda Church, we will meet down there. But until it's all topped up good enough and electricity, we will still meet at our home. Thursday, we head out to San Juan again and have a women's group there. I started the women's group, so we do not have a children's group yet. Once the cold months are over, Mama will probably take over the women's group, and I will go and start a children's group out in this area. When I say group, I mean Bible study and prayer meeting. That's all we have out in those areas. And all the work with the women and the children and the young people, we try to have a craft at least once a month if we can for them. Donkeys, main transportation still in our villages. Youth groups, people when they come down, we try to make sure you get a donkey ride up the mountain at San Juan. You can see the younger boys, usually the oldest boy in the family, his parents try to get him a small donkey when he's old enough to be able to be responsible for it. And you can see, oh, these are the saddles. Some of the young boys that have come from different states with the youth groups, they have a hard time with that. You know, it's kind of uncomfortable going down the mountain in that. You can see what donkeys are used for so many things in the villages. This is one of the kitchens. This stove is made out of dirt, and in this area she puts her wood in there to cook on. This stove I really like. And I told one if we ever do a kitchen, I think we ought to do it this way. It's cheaper. Barrel. The lid's up here. She cut off this lid and stuck it in here. You can see her wood burning. I mean, that baby burns quick and hot. You got that whole room instantly, you know, real nice and warm. Your puppets, okay. Friday activities include many, many things, and they're changeable. We have had Friday doing guitar lessons, English classes. One's had special Bible study classes. It's the time the youth group, many times will work with a special program they're going to have with their puppets that they have started the puppet ministry now, and are using that in many areas. Maybe the choirs, the two choirs, the different age groups will practice. We may go for a picnic. We may go out to the land. We have camp out and have something special. We may take them south. We've done that twice to the Bible college where I used to work in San Luis Potosí and get to go to the children's home and so on. We do special activities usually with Friday on that particular day. Saturday we have our normal youth group, 6 years and up, which we have usually 40, 45, 50 or more people, young people that attend Saturday afternoon. It's supposed to be 3 to 5. It usually is 3 to 12 o'clock and you kick them out, you know, if they stick around, especially the young people. They are in our home all day, almost all the time. Many of them, I don't even remember the last time our families had any of our 3 meals by ourselves. There's always people there who love it. It's great. This is the camp that we started years ago. What you see is what you get. You remember I said one time that we built a cardboard bathroom. It rained, it got soggy and fell down. Boy, is I glad I wasn't in it when that happened. We built a stronger cardboard structure and it hasn't fallen down yet. What it is this man owns this land up here. He has a 3-room house, bedroom, living room, and his kitchen, which we use. Otherwise, classrooms, everything's outside. There isn't anything else there. No electricity, no water, none of that type of stuff. We have to go to the city. I have to go every day back and forth to get water, drinkable water, to get the food that we're going to be using for every day, no refrigeration naturally. We had 68 in camp this year. We had 6 decisions made in baptisms this particular year. What we do have in this place is our baptistry. This is where we baptize our people in the Saltillo area. It's called a pila. You can't really see it very good here. It's a square block that can be any different size or depth, but they store water here for irrigation purposes and to feed the animals. Here you see Papa, this year at camp baptizing our youngest member of the family, Sarah. We've been talking about the camp situation here. That land can never be bought. I said this man owns it. Actually, the government owns the land. He is given the land, and it's his as long as he works the land. Usually what happens when they work the land, the government gets a certain percentage out of the crops. Well, naturally, there's not enough water, that man doesn't make enough and can't have enough crops. The government just lets him stay there. He can pass that land on to his children, his children's children, and so on, but he can never sell the land. He can invite us out there and we use that land for camp, but it will never be ours or the church's. His wife is not a Christian. If something happened to him, there's no guarantee that we will have a camp. So Juan and I are really too afraid to start building buildings out there. But recently, we came up with this area, and it's getting confusing. San Antonio, not the same one we go to. This is an hour, about 45 minutes from our house, the other direction, past San Juan, 45 minutes because it's all on a main road stretch. It's not on dirt roads like San Juan is, so we can get there faster. It's the greenest area close to us anywhere. We've gone out in that area many times to take our young people for picnics, get a one. And it's a beautiful area, and we have a chance now to buy land. We have to have the money. He wants the money by the 5th of November. It's about $5,000. The peso's fluctuating every day, so it's difficult to give you in dollars exactly what it may be tomorrow, maybe more than that. About 5,000. It's about 8 acres of land. There's an apple orchard. You can see the older trees and the newer trees on it. We would like to be able to work the orchard, take out the old dry trees. We don't know if we can, but if we can make enough money off the apples by selling them, maybe we can start building some buildings. We would like to be able to purchase this to have camp, not just for the young people, for the children, for families, for the other churches in the area, where we can have conventions and camp and use this just any time of the week that we can possibly use it, as much as we can use this land. That's a possibility. Our family did put money down on the land in order to be able to have the opportunity to buy it. It's with a man that we know. He's almost giving us the apple orchard he's giving us. The land probably cost at least 3 times that much right now in that area. Tomorrow he could go and sell that land for 3 times what we are going to pay for it. If God wants us to have it, by November we'll have the money. If not, the Lord knows why it wasn't possible. Pray about that. We had VBS just right before we came. We had 148 children in our house. It was wild. I mean, just really wild. I was so glad when that week was over. But we had a great time. And we realized many times that children are going to be the ones that are going to bring their family to the Lord. Not only that, but these little children are the future church. What they learn about Jesus, we hope they're going to teach a lot of other people. Now, when we get back home, we have 3 more vacation Bible schools. At this vacation Bible school, we ran out of everything because we had so many. So pray about it. We have no materials right now at all to work with 3 more vacation Bible schools. And they're out in the villages. We are sure we will have 200 or more children in each of those VBSs. So we're really going to have to work on that. But you can see these children are really delighted to be able to learn more about God. All we really want you all to do is to pray, and pray that God will help the Mexican Christian people to be strong in Christ, to be faithful to Him no matter what the economic or political situation is in Mexico. They have to be able and are able to be able to carry on the church activities, that they will be able to do that. We hope that others will be able to have the opportunity to get to know Jesus Christ as their personal Savior, as we so have that liberty here in the United States. Remembering, you can turn the lights on now, Tom, remembering that in Mexico, it is against the law to have religious activities in your home. That is still so. It also, there is no religious programs at all on television, radio. We cannot use those type of things to gain people for Christ, for His kingdom. So most of it is word of mouth, and that takes a long time. That's a slow process, but that's the only process we have. Your help has been very much appreciated. The car, right now, if it wasn't for that little car, there would be no village work down there taking place. Pepe, Juan's oldest brother, has recently learned to drive. He had to because we were leaving. And so he is helping taking Mom and Pop and the girls, sometimes other people, in the little car to get out to all those mission areas that we go, all the missions in the villages, and they're carrying that work on while we're here. Had the little car not been purchased, that would not be possible at this time. So we are very, very grateful for that, and our people, they know where the car came from. They know it wasn't we that purchased it. They know who purchased it, and they're very grateful for that. Matter of fact, one of our places, the people just cried because he said, we didn't know what we were going to do when you left this particular month. They knew we were going to be out speaking. And they said, we didn't know really what we would do. We've got to remember, and it's hard to remember this sometimes, most of the areas we go, these are people that are brand new. They have no idea what the Bible is. They don't know anything about Jesus Christ really other than He existed. So they're brand new people that we're having to not only teach them the love of God and show them that you're starting from scratch as if a newborn baby is there, and working with these people and having to be able to work with them so they will be the future leaders. of the church and get them to the point where they can have leadership. Thank the Lord, that is really starting to happen this year. It was great. VBS, I had many people that were able to teach. I will not use anybody that is not immersed a believer, and there were many that were immersed already and had enough training that they were able to give classes, and that was great this year that we were able to do that. Another thing I wanted to say about Vacation Bible School, we naturally didn't have room. I said we had all those kids in our house. That's not really true. I forgot. We did have 2 of our neighbors had 3 classrooms, 3 classes went to 2 neighbors' house, are very, very Catholic, these people. And they let their grandchildren sit in on the class. One of those ladies now is wanting to come to church. The young people, those little kids, did take up an offering. Now remember, most of them very poor, and the parents, most of them, their parents, they will not let them come to church. They let them come to VBS because we had crafts and they got the color and they were out of their hair for a while. But their parents, a lot of them, they are not allowed to come to church. But Saturday or VBS, they're allowed to do that. And their offering didn't come up to too much on your standards, but it was enough that they were able to get, we got 2 Bibles and gave to those 2 ladies that let us use their house. And they'll probably have enough left over to buy maybe 1 hymn book that they're going to have. The first hymn book purchased for that new room that we have down there. So they were thrilled about their big purchase. Okay, are there any questions? No? Okay. Oh, no. Yeah.
When you make theirs out and you said they get wet, you can't cover them up with something?
They're covered in plastic now, but sometimes, and we're hoping that will do the trick. If the wind doesn't get real bad and they're able to watch it real close, that no holes get punched in that or anything, it may do the trick. We have to be very cautious with that.
What's the primary use of that? What's the primary use of that?
Adobe?
Block itself, use it just for the walls?
That will be the walls. Instead of block, instead of brick, it's cheaper. That's all we can afford to do.
What do you put on the outside of it? What do you put on the outside of it?
Mud.
The walls are that thick, huh? Not that thick?
¿Qué tan anchos va a ser cuando las paredes de la iglesia ahí en San Juan? Cuando ya está hecho de paredes, ¿qué tan ancho con eso adobe van a estar?
That thick?
It looks like about 13, 14 inches.
Ooh-wee.
Brandon, is there still a real problem with, remember in the past, like sending stuff down to Texas and getting it into, like you said, hymnals. Let's say we wanted to give you a bunch of hymnals. Are there still problems getting that stuff?
There are problems, and some things are better to get down there. But if God gets it to the border, He will get it in. It is against the law to take Bibles, and I don't know about hymn books, but Bibles it is. But I recently got in, somebody sent down, well not recently, they're all gone now, but 3 boxes or 4 or 5 boxes of New Testaments and Bibles. I had to pay a lot to buy groceries. But I put them underneath the bags and got groceries and put them in dirty clothes and made them look real dirty, you know, so they wouldn't look, and I got them in.
Could you take some hymnals back with you?
All right, all this has to be in Spanish, the Bibles and the hymn books. That's why, if you can't find them in Spanish, you'd have to send the money and us to get them down there in Spanish.
I'm not sure everybody saw how you got the puppets in. Tell them how you got the puppets in.
Okay, the puppets, I don't remember, I think I put it in the letter, but probably all of you don't know that. It would have been kind of obvious taking, you know, I mean, that many puppets, that nice looking in the van. They would probably question me, well, what are you doing, you know? I know you look like a little girl, but you know, really, why do you have all these little baby dolls with you? So I had to take them in one at a time to make sure they wouldn't take them from me. There's nothing illegal about taking them in. It's just, they think maybe you're going to sell it. So I set them up and make it look like a little doll I had there in the van, and they thought that was kind of cute, you know, a 33-year-old lady with a baby doll. That's fine, okay, take it in. The next one took in, and I just kind of played with it, you know, with the arms and everything. I didn't know really how much to move it too well, and they thought that was really cute. That was fine, no questions asked, got them in. But it had to be done one at a time. No, I took 2 in the first time, and the next time, I'm saying 1 at a time, it was really 2 and 2. And we got them down there. They're down there now, and they're using them. Papa loves to play with them. He comes home from work all the time, gets them out and starts moving around. He thinks they're really cute.
Are the kids or the adults you guys the first puppet?
The young people. It's the ages 14 and up. It's a group of about 20 to 30 or so young people that are using it.
Good question, everything you bring in, such as saws or hammers or anything like that, they would allow you bring in?
I mean, if you bought in a bunch of them in a box, yeah, then I could put one hammer in or one saw. Electrical things that go nuts over, but we can get it in. Many things, we've got a trailer that we use sometimes. A trailer, it's people got there in Texas there, in McAllen. Recently, that's how I got a lot of Bibles and things in, and they took, we got a lot of stuff in that way. Through a trailer. If any of you have a trailer and want to come down and visit, go through McAllen, we'll pack it up and bring stuff in. They would question some things and some things they don't. It just depends what it is, what kind of mood they're in. We may go in and they won't check a thing. I took in, what was it, not too long ago, we took, what was it, about 5 people in with us from Texas. They live on the border, wanted to go down and visit us. I said, well, come on and go back with us. So since they were going back, I said, well, hey, let's get some stuff and take back with us, you know, let's don't go empty-handed. So we loaded up some more Bibles and some used clothes, and we got some of our crafts for our VBS, and we loaded up and put it in different places, in the clothes and different, again, using groceries and so on. And they looked American enough and didn't know enough Spanish. They opened up stuff and just really didn't see anything. You know, sometimes the Lord just takes care and just waved us on, go on through. Got to the 22 point, 20 miles or so down the road, another checkpoint. Hey, where are your papers? Here's our papers. See you later. Go on. Never opened the door. You never know what kind of mood they're going to be in, who's going to be there. You never know. If they're going to check you, not check you. I have been fortunate. Many missionaries pay a lot of money. You know, if they find something, here's $50, $75, $100, and they'll let you go. Some, we don't want them to look at our vehicle. Here's $25, $30. I have never paid anything, ever, to get anything in, ever. The most I've ever done is if they ask me for a tip, I'll give them a $1 bill. If they say, well, how about my buddy? The most I've ever given is $2. I've never paid to get anything in. And I believe that if God gets it there, if he uses his people to get materials there, he's going to get it in. He's going to either blind the guards or something will happen. We've had times we have really sweated it out, you know, especially if they find a bunch of Bibles. That could be touchy, you know. They could, I don't know, they could throw me in prison if they wanted, you know, but God will get it in. So I'm not really too worried about that right now.
They won't bother Americans going in with things, or will they?
No, not usually. I think, for my case, the van, we've had it for how many years now, and it's kind of obvious. You know, that big ugly color, just the huge monstrous thing. And me going in, usually by myself, it would be trouble if Juan went with me. He doesn't go with me. But if they see me going by myself, Mama could go, and I usually get in easier if she's with me. It's like a Mexican lady's going down and helping me get down. But I cannot go in as Juan's wife. Then they would check me because that Mexican name, Brenda Gutierrez, hey, she's taking stuff down there to Mexican people, and they would want money. So I use Brenda Martinez and go in as single. I cannot tell them I'm a missionary. Again, I would not get in. I go in as a tourist, and I usually don't have too many, problems, but people will come down as tourists. We've had many, many groups every year that come to visit us, our couples, our single people, our youth groups. They usually do not have any trouble. It's obvious they're going for vacation. And they usually don't check things then. Especially now. They meet the tourist people down there. They want the American dollars being spent down there, so it's usually no problem. Don't be afraid to come. They won't bother you. Come on
I can't
down.
figure out why they want to bother people going.
They wouldn't bother American people going in. They kind of get to know who's doing what. It's, after 11 years, 11 or so years I've been there, I think some of them know me, and it's like, well, they probably know. I'm sure they probably know what I'm doing. They would question thinking you were going to sell stuff. That's the whole thing. They don't want you taking things down there and selling them. You're not allowed to do that, and they don't want that done. That's really the whole thing. But usually we're not bothered much by that.
Can you tell us what are some of your biggest needs? I know you can always use money for your projects. What are some things that children could do?
Okay, we made out a list recently. I don't think my mother ever got it out. I don't know if she even got the newsletter out yet or not. It's probably been a while. I wanted that list to go out before we got in, but I don't think she got it there. Things children could do, I could probably write you down a list and really do the best things like Band-Aids, crayons, coloring books, especially if they had anything religious, dealing with religious things. Are you giving me one? Paper of any type, scissors, children's scissors, tape of any type, staplers to put in them, hole punchers, yarn, craft items, craft ideas. Great thing, visual aids, anything visual aids. Remember to not to send things really that have a lot of English in it, because I have to translate it all, and I really don't have a whole lot of time to do that. It's better visual aid things that I don't have to do a lot of translating to do that. It'd be a whole lot easier on me. There are a lot of other projects, but children wouldn't be able to work towards those, like bigger items,
No, like
but
if we would get together some crafts for you, like already assembled, how many would we make? 20, 30, of the same kind of thing?
already
Crafts for
assembled.
children.
Probably
Okay.
what would be the best to do, assemble one, send it, and send the material to make the others. So the
Oh.
kids down there can make them themselves.
Oh, okay.
Because if you would send that many assembled, I can't guarantee they'd be getting down there still assembled.
Yeah.
And the kids themselves would enjoy more, I think, doing them.
Just
We could get one example of how to do it, and we could show them how to do it, and let them do it, that's what they would like the best. It could be anything. I mean, from paper things to craft sticks to yarn to anything you could think of that they could make. It's fine, craft-wise. Did that help you out a little? Maybe we can make a list later. I ought to probably get my mother to send a list.
There is a list, Brenda.
There is? Okay.
It's
I
back
don't know
there.
what all my mother left on that or not, but it's probably small items.
It's a
like
long
that.
list.
Oh, yeah, I try to make it long enough you really can pick out what you want. I mean, there's a lot to pick from. Any other questions?
There's been, as you said, there's been no difficulty in getting stuff from Texas across.
We've been able to get everything across that's been sent so far. There's not been anything I haven't been able to get in. From electrical things, I mean, we've been able to get,
Would you like if somebody had one project, if we bought a circular saw or a drill, would those things be offered? You have to,
sure they'd be
How
helpful.
about a handsaw? You know those?
here's against my list.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the church, we want to put in there, 220. In our house, it's 110. We can put 220 in there, it's connected so we can have 220. But we'd have to pay extra to have that, we just haven't done that, but in the church, we definitely want to do that. Yeah, anything like that can be used, anything like that, would be great for any of our areas,
Have you
really.
explored the possibility of a portable generator that you could take with you?
That's such a huge item, I never even thought about
Oh,
that.
There's
Sure.
some-
No, I don't mean huge, I mean expensive, I never, sure, that'd be great, if it wasn't real big that we could get it in, if we could get it in the van and use somebody's trailer, like there's a lot of people in Texas we know that have trailers, we could probably get it in that way. Or when groups come down to visit us,
About as big as a suitcase.
There's office.
oh yeah, we can get something like that in probably, yeah. Gas,
Around generator.
si estás entendiendo qué están diciendo de que si tenemos gas para poder
It's like
trabajar,
some of
ya.
that big Ford out there, it's
Yeah. Yeah, and we could use, I mean, really, I don't even know what to tell you. There is nothing probably that you couldn't send that we couldn't use. I can't think of anything really. Old reading glasses, old magazines, there's probably very little that you could even think of that we couldn't use down there. I couldn't think of a thing we couldn't use. In one area or another, it could be used by us, in the mission work, by the people themselves in the area, by people learning in the mission, anything. Just not dirty diapers, you can clean those out before you send them, but anything else, yeah. Anything you could think of, be
Would you
very
take
welcome.
anything back with you now?
Sure.
Depends on-
Not a real big horse,
No.
but anything else, anything fit in there, sure, we'll take it back. We did have a fella in Waynesburg mention about taking a horse. I said, if I had a trailer, buddy, I'd take you up on that in a second. Said, our kids would love to have a horse down there, or young people, that'd be great.
They're good eating.
Yeah, the trouble eats meat. It's fine. Yeah, we feed those. If we run out of meat, sure. Are there any other questions?
If, we could interest some of the kids into making a trip down there.
Do it. Great.
How long ahead do you need to know, and how big a group do
Hey,
want?
you can
Or small?
come down and don't even let us know. That I don't care. I mean, that'd be fine. Walk up to the front door. We don't care. We don't have to know ahead of time. The only thing would be is to make sure that we're not. Well, where would we be gone? The only place would be next year if we're up in this area. Otherwise, we won't be gone anywhere. But it'd be nice to be able to plan things to have ready for them. Sure, we would love, I've been saying this for years, and I admit it, but nobody takes me serious. Anybody that wants to come, we can handle the biggest group you can bring down. You couldn't bring one too big for us. Robbie King, any of you know Robbie King that used to be in this area? He's brought groups down almost every year. He's moved from the Carmi, Illinois area into Tennessee recently, and he's planning on bringing some more. He's brought, his groups are 25 or more, 30 or so people, and everybody's there at our home, stays at our house. We can handle anything you can bring down. We couldn't park a plane there at our house, but we can get you at any of our airports, get you to the border, you can drive on in. We can work it out any way you want. We'd love that to be done. I was telling Tom today that all the groups, not all, but almost all the groups that have ever come down group-wise, like maybe adults or youth groups, have been churches that do not support the work. People I don't even know except maybe the youth minister or maybe somebody that attends that church. And it's kind of sad for me. It's great. Usually they end up supporting the work in some way. But it's sad, all the churches, and West Hills has been a church that's supporting me, I think, since I've been in Mexico at the children's home. And that many years, I feel bad that people have never come down, and I can understand there are many reasons why you wouldn't be able to. But I would love to see churches that have supported me for so long to come down and see what we really are doing. You can see slides, but it won't tell you the story. It's not like meeting the Mexican people for themselves, living with the Mexican family, and being out there, being a part of the work and working hand in hand with them on things that can be done down there or sharing in their services. It's not the same. I know because I was where you're at now. I sat in a pew and watched slides of the children's home and started supporting them monthly before I ever went down there. And I knew everything about every child in that children's home. I had a picture blown up of every one of them. I had in my room, in my apartment. I knew where they came from. I knew their dislikes, their likes, everything. But it wasn't the same. When I got down there, I got the chance to hold them in my arms, be with them, meet them, converse with them the best I could. Didn't know Spanish. It's different. When you cross the border, you're in another world. Everything's different. But Leela said to many of the area of churches we've gone to, a smile is not different. God's love is seen in God's people all around the world. And that's what's made, I'm not saying it try and put us on a pedestal. I'm saying it because of God. We have never had anybody, any group that's come down that has not gone back, that have grown spiritually, and we have grown spiritually. Some of our young people today came to Christ because of American young people and youth groups that have been down there, not because always of us. So there are things you can do by going down. It's not just going to sightsee. It's not just going to lift us up by you being there. You can really be a witness to those people there and help out in a spiritual sense as well. And we really would encourage you, again, as every time we're here, come down. As many of you as want to come down for as long as you want, you're welcome. It's your home. You've made that mission what it is, so, it's yours. Come down and see it.
Would there be any difficulty with maybe some of the young people writing to the children there?
No. They wouldn't be able to write back in English. Well, some of our young people, you could try on that. I could translate their letters, or the younger children, for instance. I did that a long time ago. A church sent their kids, ours did it first, I guess, made pictures, they colored pictures and sent it to a church in the States. And their children received those, and they, of course, sent something back. And that went on for several months. Our only problem is with that, many times things don't get out of Mexico. But we try, our best to get them out. We could even, we couldn't send a tape from, I don't think a tape would ever get out of Mexico. We could make tapes of the kids singing courses maybe that you know, like Jesus Loves Me in Spanish down there. When we ever go to the border, get it out.
What I was thinking, some of the, especially the teens, they take Spanish in school. This would be good exercise.
I think, no, so couldn't some of our young people maybe try to write letters in a little bit in English, and what they couldn't finish out, they could do in Spanish? He's saying, ¿sí entiendes qué está diciendo? Okay. Yeah, we could do that. Sure. They could start communicating with each other before they make their trip. You know, have like prayer partners.
Making a trip then.
Yeah, well, sure, you know, like writing partners, prayer partners, one for another. I'm making this real hard on the cameraman. This is going to be great, you know, getting all the motion.
He's sure you can some action.
Is he going to be the one that comes down to film, you know, the mission work when he's there? I need more than that, more than this. Lila, ¿tú quieres decir algo? Y tú, Juan, venga para acá, los dos. Tú puedes decirle de lunes de la oración. I'm going to let Lila and Juan say a little something to you. Down there, I do not do the talking, believe me. He does it all. I'm sitting back and back with the little children. I feel so funny up in front when I get in the States. You gotta make her go first. I knew he was going to do this. She is so timid and shy. She will not be that way by the time she gets home. Okay.
Pues estoy muy contenta de estar aquí con ustedes,
I'm very content to be here with all of you.
de conocerlos.
They get to know you.
Pues yo los imaginaba así, muy unicorns.
Why would I tell that? She said, I thought you'd kind of be like people that, you know, I don't know how to really translate this to make it sound nice. You know, maybe that you get mad or you're, you know, kind of important people. I guess from the car, she figured you'd be really rich, you know. Important people that have wealth down there are snobs, you know. I think that's what she means to say in a nice way.
Y pues me da mucho gusto verlos.
Well, we are.
It really makes me happy to see really how you really are.
Pues también les quiero dar las gracias por
I want to thank you very much, too, for the car. We really like it. She can't wait to learn to drive, I know.
y pues ojalá que un día ustedes vayan a mi casa, me daría mucho gusto que fueran.
I hope one day you will come to my house. I would really be happy to see you there. Oh, I can Okay.
Bueno, yo también estoy feliz de volver a estar con ustedes
I'm happy to be again here with you.
y pues tener la oportunidad de personalmente, ya les habían mandado un cassette o
To have
algo,
the
una carta,
opportunity by person, we have sent a letter and a cassette and so on, but
y me da gusto de tener la oportunidad de personalmente
I'd
darles las
like to have
gracias
the opportunity personalized to be able to bring the thanks to you.
y pues aprecio mucho el esfuerzo que hicieron ustedes
I really appreciate the strength that you went by to
por la iglesia allá en Saltillo
the church there in Saltillo
y el área de Saltillo donde estamos trabajando
and the area that we're working in.
y se está ayudando bastante ese carro.
That car is helping all those areas very much.
Como Brenda les decía hace
Like
unos
Brenda was
momentos,
just saying a few minutes ago.
y yo creo que Dios les va a bendecir mucho más a ustedes.
And I think God is going to bless you much more because of what you've done.
Tengo también algo que quiero platicarles.
I have something also I'd like to talk to you about.
Hace poco tuve la oportunidad
Sometime back, a little time back, we had the opportunity
en un campamento de ver una película cristiana
to see a Christian movie.
y en esa película
In this movie,
se trataba de 3 personas,
it was about 3 people,
3 hermanos de una organización o de una
3
iglesia
brothers or sisters in Christ from an organization.
y 2 de ellos salieron fuera del país
2 of them that went away from the United States, their own country,
y otro estaba ahí en el mismo
and one that
país.
stayed in her own country, the United States.
Y me gustó mucho esa película.
I really liked that movie a lot.
Estaba en inglés,
It was in English,
pero tenía algo de español también.
but it had a little bit of Spanish in there too.
Y me gustó bastante. No
And
sé
I
si
really
ya la
liked
hayan
it a
visto.
lot.
No sé, parece que algunos ya lo han visto. esa.
Maybe some of you have seen it. I don't remember that.
Yeah, we have.
Have you? Okay.
Bueno, me gustó mucho la parte donde
I like the part a lot.
andan trabajando fuera ellos.
Don't make me.
Uno de ellos estaba en el África
One was in Africa,
y otro estaba en Chile, en
and one was
Sudamérica.
in Chile, did I say right?
Yeah.
Chile, South America.
Y otro estaba la mujer estaba en Chicago.
Caught that one.
Y me gustó mucho la parte donde estaban trabajando ellos
I like
y
the part where
tenían
it showed where they were working,
y había algunos problemas
and they started having some problems
con la lengua,
with the, language,
con la comida
with the food,
o con la gente.
or with the people.
Y me gustó mucho la parte
And
donde
I really liked the
está
part
un anciano
where
orando
it
por
showed an
ellos,
older man that was praying for them,
uno que le gustaba mucho orar
one that really liked to pray.
y estaba orando por ellos.
He was praying for them.
Y pues yo me imagino también, hemos estado en situaciones también
And I thought
parecidas
about too, we've been in situations that were very similar.
y yo he sentido que ustedes están orando por
And
nosotros
I have felt that you have been praying for us.
y quiero pedirles que sigan orando por
And I want
nosotros.
to ask that you keep on doing that, praying for us.
Hace como 3 años nos visitó
About
una
3
iglesia
years ago, a church visited us. This was Tom Hart and Phil Strunk from New Jersey.
y ellos, el predicador de ellos
The
tuvo una
minister
idea.
had a good idea.
Los lunes
Monday
a las 9 de la noche,
at 9 o'clock in the evening.
aquí serían como las 11,
Here, right now, it would be 11 o'clock, 2 hours difference.
íbamos a estar unidos en oración.
We would be united in prayer.
Ellos iban a estar orando en la iglesia de ellos
They were going to be praying their church,
y en las iglesias donde vamos nosotros allá
and we in the churches where we go.
íbamos a estar orando también a la
We would be
misma
praying
hora.
at the same time.
Íbamos a estar unidos en esa
We would
oración
be united in this prayer.
y quiero invitarlos también a ustedes
And I want to invite you
para que estén dentro de esa oración,
so you can be in with this prayer.
orando por la iglesia, las iglesias allá en
Be
México,
praying for the churches and people in Mexico,
por problemas que
for
hay
the problems that there are,
y también pues por todo
And also for
en general
everything in general.
en la iglesia.
in the church.
Y nosotros vamos a estar orando
And we
también por ustedes
there will
aquí.
be praying for you here.
Que Dios les bendiga.
Okay, may God bless you.
A las 11 hoy.
At 11 o'clock today. Tonight.
No, no.
Okay, that hour, it's not always 2 hours. When you change it, it'll only be 1 hour difference. Right, when you change time, I believe. Monday, we've done this with all the churches we've gone to that we can think of, when we can think of it, churches that have come to visit us. There are many Christian people all throughout the United States, as well as the Mexican people there, praying at the same hour Monday, all around these different areas. Now, our young people and the particular youth group from New Jersey said they always want to go out or at least get to a window somewhere they can look up in the sky and see the moon or the stars, because they know, they said, we will be looking at the same moon and stars at the same time that you are. Any more questions? Doesn't that make Mexico sound a little bit closer, the same moon and stars? Not that you have to go to the moon and jump back down towards Mexico, but it's not quite as far away, I think, as some of you probably think. And I really feel you will be blessed, not because of our mission work, because of the Christian Mexican people. Much more than you can even imagine. And you will be able to bless those people in that same way, in a spiritual sense. Let's pray about that this trip can be possible, or trips be possible, or in any form that someone or peoples from this particular church can do that in the future. And if we pray about that, when that time comes, it will be because God wanted it to happen, and growth will be spiritually on both parts, I'm quite sure. There are no other questions, comments, anything. You sure? I might not be here next year, so. Are you sure?
Does your government allow Bibles to be printed within the country?
They are printed within the country. Correct me if I'm wrong, Juan. The Catholic Church get to state what Bibles are printed in Mexico. I think that's the reason they don't let you bring Bibles in, because they let the Catholic, have in the past, the Catholic Church,
Parece que en Querétaro empezaron ya a hacer
the Nuevo Testament.
Nuevos Testamentos.
Okay, we think there's a possibility in Querétaro, missionary friends of ours, what, Bob, right?
No sé
Humberto?
quién sea. No,
We're not sure, but we think there's someone down there that's starting maybe to
En Cuernavaca.
Cuernavaca. Yeah, okay, we know them. Possibly New Testaments down there. It's cheaper to get them there, but
Pero
no,
creo
it
que-
isn't. That's not true.
Creo que pues a lo mejor sí van a tener algo de problemas para continuar ahorita. O sea, como está
He
todo.
believes that will be a problem. They will not let them possibly get started or complete that of printing Bibles there. That's Christian church people that are doing that, I believe, isn't it? It's just the thing that they're letting, the church and government have been one for so long. There is a split now. They are not one anymore. But the government still lets the Catholic Church have the right. What are the 3 Bibles? I think there's 3 they choose. What versions? The King James Version?
No me acuerdo.
I can't remember what 3 versions. One was the King James. I think they have New Testaments and, what do you call them in English? Good News. And I can't think what the other one is.
That's American Bible Society.
I can't remember what the other is. I think those are just the New Testaments and
Would it be
those.
the Douay?
Pardon?
The Dewey version?
No. I don't remember.
Nueva vida o algo así.
New Life, something like that. New Life or something like that. It's a New Testament.
¿Cómo se llaman los nuevos
Good News.
testamentos, Lila?
Is it good news for?
Que tenemos ahí.
Good News for Modern Men. Good News for Modern Men. That's,
You may as well read the ballgame.
pardon?
You may as well read the ballgame.
Any Bible's better than no Bible at all. But Bibles, we priced them. We brought that with us somewhere. It's out there somewhere. Bibles are costing more in Mexico than they do in the States too.
Supply and demand, that's.
So, we've had people, what is it, Good News, I think? Where is it that you can get the New Testament? Some people have been able, you can get those free sometimes. The New Testaments, get those in.
Gideon's
American Bible
Write any down?
Gideon's, have you ever seen Gideon Bibles?
Sí, hay que
Where?
vi una vez.
Mexico City?
No, nada más vi una Biblia en español de ellos, pero
Not in Mexico?
no sé de dónde.
I'm not seeing in Mexico because we don't travel a lot, but he has seen Spanish Bible that's printed by Gideon, so they have to do them in Spanish. I'm sure they must be sent somewhere down there.
I think the Gideon.
I never thought about
printed
that.
about 30
Gideon's.
languages.
Because they can get him into one hotel, that's what they use it for.
Maybe we ought to start visiting hotels, swiping some of the Bibles. Never thought about that.
We're not swiping.
Would God mind if we stole some Bibles? I hope.
That's a good idea, because they do throw them out.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Well, we just
After
stand
they
by
get
the
so
trash
old, they
can then,
just
and
throw
what would
them
be the problem? I mean,
Relocating it, you're not stealing, you're relocating it.
Okay, that's better terminology.
No, this is a Bible we're talking.
We aren't really going to fill all these things. There's some things that we would like you to be praying about other than the work in general. Keep in mind the Provivienda Church, there's a lot of building to be done there. The church in San Juan, it's just a matter of getting the, it'll cost, I'm saying around $3,000. Prices are going up every week there, so it's so hard to keep that. It's probably a little more than that now. Most of the cost, a lot of it's because to get the material, for instance, the cement, things like that, you have to pay for a truck to get it way out to the village and get it up that mountain. That's expensive. Now, we have some manpower, but those bags of cement are heavy. If you try to climb, I don't even know if the donkeys can handle a lot of that. So that's where a lot of expensive there. Indiana, the church building there, that roof is caving in. We have to get it off, and we have nothing to put back on. So we haven't taken it off yet, but it's in very bad condition. The other thing is not immediately. This is way in the future, but we need to build on something there where the children will have some classroom areas later in the future. Media is Provivienda, the building, especially that one room, getting it finished, that it would be, better usable. San Juan building, Idiona, the roof. The van is sick. Pray that it will get out of the hospital before too long. Leila's probably getting ready to think she's never going to get back to Mexico. It's broken down on us several times on this trip.
We're taking it in the morning.
Oh, you are? Are we supposed to say goodbye to it, or we would get it out?
We're not
Okay.
turning it yet.
Okay. Pray about that. We are really grateful now for your car. We may end up having to leave that van, may get stuck at the border before we can take it in. The other thing is the promotion work. And you are directly related to this because I have no real good excuses. I can't even use the tumor I had with my eyes anymore. Sometimes I wish I had, so I had an excuse. No, I don't really. about not writing. I do have to watch how much I use my eyes still. But I have no one there to help me write. And it's hard to find time in our schedule. In the mornings, we're out visiting. All of our mornings are filled with other activities that we didn't mention. And there's other churches that we help in that we didn't talk about, that we don't go out every single week, so we don't consider it really our work. But we need to do something about our promotion end. And I want you to pray about that I don't know where or how in my schedule I'm going to work this out. I need to do more letter writing. I need to get the newsletter out on maybe not regular, but more often. Our support, I should say, my support since I've been in work and after we've been married has been the same all these years. And it's not dropped, but it's not gained. And the cost of living has changed drastically. We've got to do something about it because we've gotten more involved in our mission work now. We're doing more things. We're getting into big things, building projects. We're getting into more things that cost more money now. And the Mexican people, I wish they were at the point they could do it themselves. That would be our goal. But they're not at that point yet. They, in San Juan, are doing their best they can. In Aviona, they're trying their best. They can try a little harder there. In Provivienda, they put a lot of money into that land and that building as well. But they're going to have help to finish any of those projects in any of those areas. They can't do it by themselves at this point. Pray about it, But we think we've got a couple right now that they want to be our promotional directors, and we're not ready for that. They would be willing to get their own support. We can't afford that. We don't have time really for that right now. So we figure in the future, the only way I can think to be able to handle the situation and still be able to carry on as much of my responsibility would be, and I know this sounds luxury item, but to get a video camera and a VCR and make our cassettes. The churches I can't get to one particular year, try our best to get them a video, what do you call it, cassette? And go to these churches. The next year, you get the cassette, we go to these. I can't be out, Juan and I, really more than in the month. The only way we can do it now is because that little car's there. Because otherwise, you have to start from scratch down there. If you don't get out to those villages, or you're not there, those people leave. The Mormons, the Jehovah's Witnesses, groups like these are big down there now. Charismatic group. These things are big, and these are going to snatch those people. They're not strong enough yet just to leave them on their own. We like someday to say, here's your minister, we're going out, we're going to start another church over in another area. You guys do it yourself. But they're not at that point yet. So you be praying about that. We don't need that maybe right now, but in the future, that's the only thing I can think of that's going to help me, to take pressure off of me, and to be able to be fair to people like you that are making that mission work possible. I'm really stuck in the middle of this. I need to be here and I need to be there, and I can't be both places at the same time. And I don't know how to really get out of that situation, unless you would like to pay for a full-time member of yours to bring a camera down once so often and do the work and come back, and get those cassettes out to some of our churches. That'd be fine. Just pray about these different things that we have mentioned. These are probably the biggest items we have on the list of the building, the van, the promoting area, as far as financial things are concerned.
You have a sister-in-law that you said business college?
Leela went to a secretarial school, but she did not want to be a secretary. So after a year, she dropped out of it. She realized that was not her calling. I think she just wanted to study something and just doesn't really know what yet. So
Get one of those girls in the family down there that you teach English to.
that would be great. That was what we thought would happen, because she was taking English at that college. And that's what I had hoped, that she'd be able to do that, but it was just too hard on it. That's very difficult to be a bilingual secretary. And it just didn't work, and I'm not gonna push her into that, because
No.
you can't, she has to have that desire to do that.
You have to want.
So, someday maybe that'll happen, who knows. But until that happens, we need to do something about that. And I really don't know, I kept thinking this year, what am I gonna cut out? And instead of cutting out, now I've got people coming, hey, we want guitar classes and English classes again. So it's not a matter of cutting out, it looks like we're gonna be adding on. I want to get this year, I set goals each year. Sometimes I put that in the newsletter, and then a year later I've written and see how much we have or haven't got done. I want to get a children's group started Thursday out at San Juan. I want to start a library, a Christian library with books, especially for our young people, where they can take those books out and read them or bring them back and that type of thing. There's so many things I want to do, and I have to kind of evaluate my time. And it's very difficult, too, when I'm thinking all the time in Spanish there. I never am talking and thinking in English. And it's hard for me to sit down when I'm down there among Spanish all around me and write a letter in English. That's very difficult for me to do. It's hard sometimes to get up and speak the first week or so in because I still have somebody with me and I'm still thinking some in Spanish, not totally in English.
You're the only one who knows English then, when you're down.
Yes. There's no one in any that I work with that speaks English.
If we could find Leila a husband, an American husband,
Esposo de Lila, aquí en Estados Unidos. We wait till you start going out. I mean, you know what. Okay, are there any other questions? Hey, it's been nice getting together with you. I'm glad you did this. I knew nobody else probably would have done this, the spare of the moment, but I wanted to give you an opportunity. If you wanted to talk with us or anything, you know, you wanted to know, this was the only day we had free to have been able to have done that. So.